Do you truly believe your money is safe in the bank? In just a few hours, one of the biggest banks in America collapsed. Thousands of people instantly lost access to their own money. Still think your money is secure? The truth is, you're quietly losing money every single day because of inflation, low interest rates, and political decisions you can't control. The financial system you once trusted is silently betraying you. If you care about financial freedom, if you want to build wealth, master personal finance, and avoid becoming one of the poor, then listen carefully. Keeping all your money in the bank might be the biggest mistake of your life. Today, I'll share top 5 powerful assets and 2 other secret assets that can help you build wealth, stop wasting money, and create lasting generational wealth. U.S. government bonds. If you're looking for a safe, reliable asset, one that stands strong through financial storms and market chaos, government bonds are the smartest place to start. Put simply, when you buy a U.S. government bond, you're lending money to the U.S. government. They use that money to run the country, and after a set period, they pay you back plus a fixed interest rate. It's one of the oldest and most conservative investments out there, making it perfect for those who want a stable financial foundation, especially if you're over 35 and shifting your focus from high returns to smart wealth protection. Government bonds are about as close to risk-free as it gets. No need to worry about companies going bankrupt, markets crashing, or crypto disappearing overnight. The U.S. government has never defaulted on its bonds in modern history, making them a top choice for anyone looking to preserve wealth without fear of losing value. Right now, U.S. government bonds are paying over 4% annually, far more than the typical savings account, which often pays just 0.5% to 1%. At this rate, you're not only protecting your money, but you're also beating inflation, something most people keeping their cash in banks simply can't do. That said, like any investment, bonds come with risks. The biggest one is liquidity. If you need to pull your money out early, you'll have to sell the bond on the secondary market, where prices can fluctuate depending on current interest rates. If market rates rise after you buy, your bond's value may drop, and you could take a loss. But if you're investing with a medium to long-term vision and don't need the cash immediately, the risk is almost zero. Bonds are ideal for those pursuing a strategy of asset protection, maintaining the value of their money, and building generational wealth with a clear mindset. Getting started with government bonds is simple and accessible. You can begin with as little as $100 directly through the official U.S. Treasury platform. No middlemen, no commissions. You can also invest through major platforms that offer a variety of bonds with flexible terms and clear management tools. Another option is bond ETFs, which let you own a diversified bond portfolio with a single click. This is great for those who don't want to pick individual bonds but still want the stability of this powerful asset class. In short, if you're serious about personal finance, seeking sustainable investment value, and looking to protect your money from major economic swings, U.S. government bonds are one of the most powerful and essential tools. It won't make you rich overnight, but it's a solid strategic step toward financial freedom, lasting wealth, and avoiding the costly mistakes that lead to wasted money over time. Real estate. When it comes to tangible assets that can generate income and hold long-term value, real estate is always at the top of the list. Unlike cash that just sits idle in a bank account, real estate is something you can see, touch, and most importantly, rent out to create steady passive income every single month. People often say money doesn't grow on trees, but with the right property and the right location, rental income can feel like your own money tree growing in the backyard. For anyone on the journey to build wealth and achieve financial freedom, real estate is not just a store of value, it's a powerful tool for creating long-lasting generational wealth. One of the biggest advantages of real estate is its ability to appreciate over time. Markets may experience short-term corrections, but historically, real estate values tend to rise, especially in fast-growing urban areas. Even though the U.S. housing market slowed down in 2024, cities like Austin, Nashville, and Raleigh have shown strong rebounds in 2025. In just the last 3 years, home prices in these areas have surged over 40%. That number alone proves the power of real estate as a wealth-building vehicle. You don't need to be a financial genius to benefit. Real estate is also a reliable shield against inflation. As the cost of living rises, so do rents, helping you preserve purchasing power and maintain a stable income. Of course, real estate isn't without risks. If you buy in the wrong location, at the wrong time, or manage the property poorly, you could face high maintenance costs, property taxes, or long vacancies. That's why so many people waste money on poorly planned real estate deals and end up with dead capital. Real estate also isn't highly liquid. You can't just sell it instantly like stocks or bonds when you need cash. But with the right strategy, the right property type, like rental homes, apartments, or logistics warehouses, and solid management, it can become a rock-solid foundation of your personal finance plan over the long term. But what if you don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a home? Don't worry. Today, you can invest in real estate with a small amount of capital through REITs, real estate investment trusts. Funds like Realty Income or Fundrise let you own a share of commercial properties, from office buildings to logistics centers, with just a few $100s. It's a great way to enter the real estate market without the headaches of being a landlord. Some platforms let you invest in individual homes almost like buying shares in a property. Real estate offers the perfect blend of real-world value, income potential, and protection against inflation. If you're looking for a sustainable path to wealth, a realistic way to get rich, and a way to secure your family's financial future, don't overlook this traditional but incredibly effective asset class. It's a solid brick in your journey to build long-term, proactive, and resilient wealth.
Asset 3. Gold. In a financial world that never stops shifting, where governments can print money at will and banks seem constantly on the brink of mergers or collapses, gold stands firm, unchanged, and unshaken. It remains a timeless symbol of real, tangible value. Gold was once the currency of kings, nations, and empires. And today, when everything else can fail, stocks can crash, fiat currencies can lose their worth, and banks can freeze your accounts, gold endures, serving as the ultimate safe haven for those who want to protect their wealth. In 2025, gold prices soared past $3,000 an ounce, a historic high driven by geopolitical tensions, fears over national debt, and even whispers that the U.S. government may have to reassess its gold reserves. The greatest strength of gold lies in its stability and natural scarcity. Unlike paper money, which central banks can print endlessly, gold is finite. It can't be duplicated, replaced, or inflated. It doesn't need interest rates to hold its value because it already is value. When you hold gold, you are not dependent on any institution or government. It's a physical asset, nearly indestructible, and you can store it anywhere, your personal safe, a private vault, or even hidden securely at home. For those focused on building long-term wealth and securing financial freedom, gold acts like a quiet financial insurance policy, not flashy but powerful in shielding you from systemic shocks. Gold's biggest drawback is that it doesn't produce cash flow. Unlike real estate, which generates rent, or stocks which pay dividends, gold just sits. This makes it less suitable for those chasing passive income or looking for high short-term returns. And while gold generally trends upward in the long run, it can be volatile in the short term, affected by market sentiment, global events, and speculative news. Storing physical gold also involves costs like safes, insurance, and theft risk. For those who don't want the responsibility of storage, digital gold options like gold ETFs can be a convenient alternative, though they lack the satisfying sense of holding real tangible wealth. If you're worried about the devaluation of currency, rising inflation, or sudden economic shocks, then gold is an asset you simply can't ignore. It might not make you rich overnight, but it will help you stay rich over time. Even central banks around the world are increasing their gold reserves. Maybe it's time you seriously consider adding it to your wealth-building portfolio.
Collectibles and luxury goods. The next asset might already be on your wrist, in your garage, or hidden in your basement, and you may not even realize it's a potential gold mine. Collectibles and luxury items like vintage watches, classic cars, rare artwork, limited edition Lego sets, or exclusive sneakers are generating massive returns for those who truly understand the game. While most people let their money sleep in the bank, others have become millionaires by selling the things they love. Items once seen as liabilities have now become powerful investment tools. Imagine this. A Paul Newman Rolex Daytona once bought for $200 in the 1970s sold for over $17 million. A 1960 Ferrari 250 GTO fetched $70 million at auction. Even a self-destructing Banksy artwork increased in value after it destroyed itself. That's the strange yet fascinating power of this asset class, where value is born from rarity, beauty, and passion. What makes collectibles and luxury goods so valuable is their built-in scarcity. They simply can't be mass-produced. That rarity gives them long-term worth. On top of that, they carry emotional value, connect people through shared passions, and often become symbols of status and taste. Over the past decade, items like first-generation Lego Star Wars sets, limited edition Nike sneakers, and works by rising contemporary artists have increased in value by over 380%, outperforming many traditional financial investments. For those with a refined eye, patience, and a long-term vision, this is a uniquely personal and powerful way to build wealth. Even better, it lets you enjoy the journey. A vintage car isn't just appreciating in value, it brings joy on weekend drives. A rare watch isn't just an investment, it's part of a rich, luxurious lifestyle. That said, this kind of investing isn't easy. The first barrier is knowledge. Without a deep understanding of the market, collecting trends, or the rarity of specific items, you risk pouring money into things that may never increase in value. Collectibles also aren't very liquid. You can't sell instantly like stocks or gold. Pricing isn't always transparent either, often influenced by cultural trends and buyer sentiment. Plus, maintaining physical assets like paintings, cars, or timepieces involves real costs. But if you know what you're doing, you can absolutely enter this space safely and profitably. If you're looking to diversify your investment portfolio, collectibles and luxury goods offer a unique opportunity, a rare blend of passion and profit. If you're the kind of person who thinks smart about wealth, loves beauty, and doesn't mind going slow to go far, this is an asset class that can preserve value and create long-term rewards, both financially and in how you live your life. Cash. In today's digital financial world, there's one asset that might seem invisible but can literally save you in the most critical moments: physical cash. Yes, we're talking about actual dollar bills kept in a safe, a drawer, or hidden somewhere only you can access. This isn't the kind of money locked in banking apps or e-wallets. This is money that gives you total control. In severe banking crises like Greece in 2015, Lebanon in 2019, or even the sudden collapse of Silicon Valley Bank in 2023, thousands of Americans lost access to their own funds. Banks closed, withdrawals were limited, ATMs ran dry, and people were helpless. In moments like these, cash is the only thing that matters. The biggest advantage of physical cash is complete autonomy. It frees you from dependence on the financial system, technology, or unpredictable government controls. In the event of a blackout, a frozen banking system, or even something as simple as being on the road without cell service, you might not be able to use a credit card or digital wallet, but a few bills in your pocket can be the difference between getting stuck and getting through. Cash doesn't need the internet, it doesn't need ID verification, and it doesn't rely on anyone. For those who take financial freedom seriously, this is a basic but often underrated tool.
It won't make you instantly rich, but it can absolutely prevent temporary poverty when the modern system breaks down. That said, don't treat cash like a growth asset. Holding too much cash at home means missing out on real wealth-building opportunities through assets like real estate, stocks, or bonds. Cash doesn't generate returns, and over time, inflation eats away its value. There's also the risk of theft if it's not properly secured. Unlike a bank deposit, physical cash isn't insured, so where and how you store it matters, discreetly, securely, and with a plan. So how much cash should you really keep? According to personal finance expert Suze Orman, it's smart to hold about $1,000 to $2,000 in physical cash at home, just enough to cover 1 to 2 months of emergency spending if the financial system temporarily shuts down. This isn't investment money, it's your emergency fund. Think of it as your personal financial insurance, not to get rich, but to stay afloat when disaster strikes. Store it in a fixed, secure safe. Don't share access with too many people. And keep small bills for practical use during emergencies. You can also combine this with broader personal finance strategies, like building a 6-month emergency fund, diversifying your cash flow, and always having backup payment methods ready. Cash isn't an investing tool, but it's one of the most critical defensive layers in your asset protection system. Physical cash remains the one thing that gives you peace of mind when everything else falls apart. It's not the move of the fearful, it's the choice of someone who understands that true financial freedom begins with being in control of your money under any circumstance.
Asset 6. Among all the assets you can own, there's one you can't buy. You have to build it with your own hands and ideas. That asset is your personal business, the only one you can control 100%, with zero dependency on banks, governments, or the stock market. While money sits idle in a bank account slowly losing value, and banks decide how much interest your balance will earn, usually less than 1% per year, even a small personal business can generate consistent monthly income, offer unlimited growth potential, and most importantly, give you full ownership of your financial life. This is the only asset with no supply limits, because it's powered by your ideas, skills, and action. The benefits of owning a business are crystal clear. First and foremost, financial freedom. You're no longer trapped by a fixed salary or subject to interest rate hikes by the Fed. When run properly, a personal business creates steady cash flow and gives you control over your time and your money. You don't need to start big. Maybe it's a handmade shop on Etsy, a drop-shipping website on Shopify, or a YouTube channel sharing the personal finance lessons you've gathered over the years. Jeff Bezos started selling books from his garage. Elon Musk once poured all his money into what seemed like crazy startups. Sarah Blakely launched Spanx with just $5,000. They all started small, but they acted, and they turned money into a machine for building real wealth. That's the mindset behind every successful entrepreneur. Of course, no path to success is without risk. Building a business requires a serious wealth-building mindset, the courage to try, the resilience to face difficulty, and most of all, the willingness to fail. Your business could flop if you don't understand your market, manage cash flow poorly, or lack a clear strategy. It takes time, energy, and grit. This is not for someone who wants to get rich without effort. But here's what sets business apart from every other investment. You own it completely. No one can freeze it, tax it unexpectedly, or control it, if you build it right. A brilliant business idea won't just break you free from the paycheck-to-paycheck grind. It becomes a long-term asset, a way to take charge of your future, and a path to freedom that no bank or market can ever offer. Remember this, you don't need to be a billionaire to begin. You just need the courage to start. Cryptocurrencies. The final asset on this list is also the most controversial, cryptocurrencies, most notably Bitcoin. Some call it a scam, others believe it's the future of global finance.
But no matter where you stand, one fact is undeniable. Over the past decade, crypto has outperformed every traditional asset class. From just a few cents in 2010, Bitcoin once soared past $109,000 per coin. If you had invested just $100 back then, that tiny bet could be worth tens of millions today. Of course, past performance doesn't guarantee the future, but numbers don't lie. Unlike traditional currencies, cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are designed to be beyond the reach of governments, central banks, or any single entity. No printing, no devaluation. Bitcoin's total supply is forever capped at 21 million coins, a fixed limit that makes it digitally scarce, much like gold in the analog era. That's why more and more investors, corporations, and even governments are starting to view Bitcoin as digital gold, a hedge against inflation and the fragility of the traditional financial system. It's also why Michael Saylor, CEO of MicroStrategy, moved over $4 billion of his company's reserves into Bitcoin and called it a shield against financial inflation. But the benefits of crypto go far beyond price appreciation. Bitcoin and top-tier cryptocurrencies operate 24/7 with global liquidity, borderless access, and no dependence on bank hours. In a world where governments are drowning in debt and banks can collapse overnight, owning a decentralized, independent asset that can't be manipulated is one of the smartest forms of personal financial management. Especially if you're pursuing financial freedom, crypto gives you full control of your wealth with no middleman. According to a UK-based consulting firm, as of June 2024, there are 172,300 people worldwide who hold at least $1 million in crypto assets. Bitcoin alone accounts for 85,000 of those millionaires. That kind of potential comes with serious risk. Crypto is extremely volatile. Prices can skyrocket in a week and then drop 30–40% in days. This is not a market for the faint of heart or those seeking steady returns like bonds or real estate. The space also faces legal, security, and public perception hurdles, so without strong personal finance knowledge, it's easy to make emotional decisions and waste money chasing hype or FOMO. In the end, if gold was the safe haven of the old world, then Bitcoin may be the fortress of the digital age. In a time when cracks in the traditional financial system are widening, allocating even a small portion of your portfolio to crypto isn't just speculation. It might be a smart wealth protection strategy. And who knows, maybe this small, bold move could be the first step that takes you from average to rich. Now is the time to take a hard look. How much of your money is just sleeping in the bank? Out of the 7 assets I've shared, which one will you choose to protect your wealth and start building real financial freedom? Don't wait for a crisis to force you into action. Take control now. Master your personal finance, understand how to invest smart, and avoid the mistakes that drain your money. Freedom doesn't come from luck. It comes from the right financial mindset, from a wealth mentality, and from every decision you make starting today. Drop a comment. Which asset will you begin with? I read every response, and I'm here to walk with you on this journey toward financial freedom.